right along 78, including Albany, even Slateville, Trexler, into Lynn, and heading right toward Roberts Corners. This is the northern part, you can see, of Lehigh County and also into Berks County. So this cell, which was a severe thunderstorm, a rotating thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, was spotted on Doppler radar by the National Weather Service, and they're indicating that there is potential for hail in this as well. So as we take a look at our hail tracker, we can see if there's any hail associated with it or shear. This is a shear marker. This is why this storm was issued as a potential tornado. When we see this blue, this is an indication in the track of that cell as it moves toward the northeast that there's some type of rotation. There's wind that as you go up into the atmosphere, it's traveling at different speeds and directions as you go up higher and higher into the air. And this shear tracker is why they put out that severe thunderstorm warning and then potential tornado warning, because this shows some twist in the atmosphere. Right along 143 north of 78, if you're familiar with this area, if you head out to the airport, of course, that the Lehigh County Airport, or if you're heading to Dorney Park, you're very familiar with 78. This is all moving toward the northeast in the northern parts of Lehigh County. If I shift gears here and go back to the radar, you'll be able to see the heavy rain and lightning associated with this. A lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain associated with it because it is obviously a tropical air mass that is over us right now. So as we continue to look at this storm and continue to track this storm, we'll be able to see exactly where this is going to be headed as it moves toward the northeast. Now, once again, that tornado warning in effect for Berks County and also Lehigh counties, that is until 2:45 this afternoon. Take cover. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles could potentially occur. Tree damage is likely in this as well, as in any type of severe thunderstorm. We have to be very careful of any type of tree damage that could fall on homes or cars or create big problems associated with that. So we're going to keep a careful eye on that as well. As we continue to look at this particular storm, we go into Doppler radar mode, and you can see right now the heavy rain associated with this in Lynn and Slatesville, all this moving toward the northeast. Some very heavy rain as well in the western part of Berks County that is moving toward the northeast as well. It's moving so slowly. That is the big problem with this. When you're going to be seeing something move so slow, then you have the potential for flooding, some severe flooding associated with this as well, and that's what we're concerned about. So we're going to do a track on this to see how fast it's moving and the towns that are going to be in danger as a result of this, and we'll be able to see exactly where this storm is going to be potentially affecting. Now, it's moving so slowly toward the northeast right now, as we mentioned, now at 15 miles an hour, and as we take a look at that, you can see in Linville at about 224, which is imminent, and Worsley Corner at about 228, Lehigh Furnace at about 231. Right now, this packing some damaging winds associated with it, torrential downpours that will be leading to flooding as well. So if you're in the vicinity of parts of Upper Berks and into Upper Lehigh County, please be aware of a potential for a rain-wrapped tornado. The rain is coming down so hard, of course, we have damaging winds expected in this as well, and it's moving toward the northeast very slowly at about 15 miles an hour. Now, as it does, associated with this, obviously, if you know anybody that's driving in this area, please ask them to, turn off, go off to the side of the road and wait until the dangerous storm passes. Make sure that they have somewhere to go and wait until the heavy rain has ended. So I'm going to widen out so you can see the storm right here moving toward the northeast, and I can show you the exact area. If you have anyone that's in this area, you can see right here, it is north of 78. Very familiar if you're heading up anywhere in the Lehigh Valley, and you can see some flooding concerns highlighted in green already as you head toward the Poconos. This is the area of the Poconos as well, and very close to all the summer activities up in the Poconos. So to the north and west of the Philadelphia area, we have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect, and of course a warning in effect right now, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now on top of this tornado warning in effect for Berks and also Lehigh counties. So let's take a look right now. We do have our Reading camera where we had some heavy rain passing through. Now we're still seeing those threatening skies in Reading. In Lehigh, the Lehigh County camera that we have is in Allentown, where we're seeing those towering cumulus clouds, but the heavier rain and the tornado is north of this area, but you can see the towering cumulus associated with this storm well to the north of Allentown. So you can see that for miles as you move toward the north and east of this particular area. So the areas of concern that we're looking at are Roberts Corners, we're looking at Lynn, we're looking at some of these smaller communities that you can see along the highway north of 78. And as we take a closer look with this, a lot of lightning associated with it, damaging winds. If you are in this vicinity, make sure you go to an interior room of your home and wait until this dangerous storm passes, because that is obviously the main concern here, is to keep everyone safe. As we look a little bit closer, this other cell, I'm going to outline this. This is a little bit of what we call a bow echo, where the radar actually sticks out a little bit farther than normal. And when we look at this, it typically means that there is some wind damage associated with this. So this is in the area right along 78, which is very well traveled on the way to the airport, Dorney Park. If you're going anywhere in the Lehigh Valley for recreation, you can see this. This is bowing out. It's when the radar signature pushes, looks like it's pushing or bulging eastward, and that is an indication of some damaging winds. So right along 78 east or west, and then our tornado threat obviously to the north and west of Lynn right now, moving toward the northeast at about 15 miles an hour. Now as we take a closer look, winds, when we say damaging winds, we're talking about 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. We're also talking about the threat of damaging hail that we've seen in many storms, and these storms do have a history of hail. Over the past several hours, we have seen and heard reports of that. And if I take this off so you can see this area right now through Albany, stretching through Slateville and Lynn, that is our main area of concern. So as we look at this closer, you can see that the heavy rain right now really focused right here. As we get a little bit closer, moving toward the northeast, this is our potential area right along Mountain House Road, Springhouse Road, Sachs Drive, Fort Everest Road. This is in the northern part of the county here where the heaviest rain has been falling, and we're seeing it's just downpouring with that potential tornado. Once again, that tornado warning in effect for Berks and Lehigh counties until 2:45 this afternoon. The National Weather Service put this out saying in north central Berks County and northwestern Lehigh County, the big concern was for a rotating thunderstorm that was indicated on Doppler radar, producing a tornado that was moving toward the northeast now at 15 miles an hour. The hazard, obviously, damaging winds associated with the tornado and quarter-size hail. The storm has a history of hail, obviously torrential wind, and also rain that could create flooding on these area roads. This is moving so slow. We rarely see a potential tornado moving that slow, but in this humid air mass, nothing is moving that quickly. So flooding is a huge concern on top of the damaging wind threat as well. So we'll continue to keep you monitored on this cell. We're also watching this other cell that is moving a little bit closer into Berks County, and it's moving closer to the northwestern corner of Lehigh County as well. Heavy rain associated with this. Right now, not hearing anything about rotation with this, but we will let you know if we do. I'm going to go back and show you the area that we're talking about here. This is the tornado warning area. Right now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That whole area highlighted in orange. That includes parts of the Poconos, Monroe, and Carbon County. And of course, we also have this tornado warning. So we're watching this cell that is moving toward the north and the east. The warning goes until 2:45 this afternoon. Along with this, obviously, damaging winds and the potential for some hail as well. So we're going to continue to track this and the damaging winds associated with it as it moves toward the north and toward the east. So as we look at this, the areas of concern in the path of this particular storm, we have Statesville, we have Lynn, we have Albany, with all this activity moving toward the northeast. On a wider scale, the rest of the area is relatively quiet. We have some storms coming up from the south in the Wilmington area, up the I-95 corridor, a few spotty cells that are popping up with just torrential rain in parts of Bucks County as well, moving toward the northeast. They are heading into Mercer County and then onward toward central New Jersey. And that's really it for the Philadelphia area right now. The main threat is this in the Lehigh Valley and in the Poconos, where we've seen a lot of activity for the past couple of hours. And we're watching this bow echo that is going to be a concern as well, that is bulging out of our radar here. And as we get closer, this is moving a little bit faster, this cell right here, and that is an indication of damaging winds. This would be straight line thunderstorm winds pushing toward the same area. I think what's going to happen today is we're going to be seeing some of these storms doing what we call training. That means moving over the same area again and again, and that is going to compound the amount of rain we see across the Delaware Valley, and that is going to create a problem. So flooding downpours with this humid air mass, it feels tropical outside. So aside for the potential for a tornado, you also had the potential for some flooding. So we always say, turn around, don't drown. Never drive across a road that is covered with water. Obviously, flooding can happen very quickly when you see these rain rates. And as we look at the rate of rain, I think we're going to see that these rain rates are pretty significant. We're looking at rain rates at about 2 inches an hour at least when we look at this. Let's see. We're going to take a look over here and take a look at these rain rate potentials, because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing even higher rates as we go through the afternoon. So with our radar, we can take a look and see how hard this rain is going to be coming down. So I've seen a couple reports of rain rates of at least 2 inches an hour with this. Thank goodness these storms aren't staying over the same area that long, but we are seeing the heavy rain that is going to be definitely flooding in those poor drainage areas very quickly across our region. These two cells beginning to merge here, and you can see the coverage associated with it. When I add the lightning, you can see thunderstorms associated with that as well. I mean, right now we're talking about hundreds of lightning strikes at least in this particular cell. So we have the concern of the tornado, we have concern of the heavy rain, and we also have the concern of hundreds of lightning strikes associated with this particular cell and the secondary cell that is moving toward the east as well. So a lot going on throughout the day today. The tornado warning for parts of central northern Berks County and northern parts of Lehigh County goes until 2:45 this afternoon. We saw the markers. One of them we look for is shear. Shear means that there's different wind speeds and different heights in the atmosphere, and when they're all going different ways, that's what creates the spin that we are seeing this afternoon. Doppler radar indicated, but obviously the potential for some damaging winds associated with this, torrential rain, hail, as well as many lightning strikes. Only 20% of all the lightning that occurs is cloud to ground, but we obviously still see people struck by lightning and damaged because of lightning. So trees potentially coming down as well in this particular area. So I mentioned we have to go till 2:45 with this warning. We're going to continue to look at this area, to look at the cell. We have to take the lightning off to be able to even see it, because the lightning is so prolific with this particular storm. And as we continue to monitor, you'll be able to see as this storm moves, it's not going that fast. The last hour is continued to kind of explode over this particular area of central northern Berks County and into the northwestern corner of Lehigh County. So the area right now that we're watching, obviously we have very heavy rain over the northwestern part of the county right now, especially through Slatesville. And as we go through Roberts Corners, as we go through Lynn, this was the area of concern through Trexler. This is where we're seeing rain that's falling at such a high rate that it will actually be hard to be driving because of how difficult it actually is to see because of that rain. So as we widen out a little bit, we'll be able to see how quickly this is moving toward the north and the east. So the threat continues until 2:45 this afternoon for this area. We did talk about some things associated with this, the possibility of hail with this, the possibility of seeing some shear. We saw that, but now as we try to look for the hail associated with it, there it is. Now this is another thing that we're looking for. When you see the light blue The light blue indicates some small hail. The blue would be possibly pea-size hail. And when you see that dark blue right along 78, this is the trail that we're looking for, and this is the direction of the storm. So this is the trail of when the National Weather Service saw the rotating thunderstorm on Doppler radar. This was a giveaway that, oh boy, we have some large hail that is associated with this. This is a severe cell, but it potentially could be a tornado. Right to the north of Lenhartsville, right along 78, north of Greenwich as well, in the area right now of Albany. I mentioned Slatesville, I mentioned Lynn, so this is the area potential as it moved toward the northeast, dumping inches of rain associated with it and then expanding. So you have hail, you have torrential downpours, you have damaging winds, and everything moving slowly, so flooding is going to be a big concern. So if there are any usual areas that you would be concerned about, it would be a good idea to stay off the roads. Now, we are getting word that the tornado warning has been expired, so now the National Weather Service will just go back to issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for the area and keep the watch in place as we go through the afternoon. So we'll take a look at that, make sure that that has expired, and go back to our Doppler radar and take a peek here, and we will be able to see if our warning has indeed been expired. And it looks like, yes, we are back to a severe thunderstorm warning. So the warning has expired. We are back to a severe thunderstorm warning.